We want cultivars that are mold resistant. We want cultivars that'll thrive well in high humidity, that can deal with overwatering well. These are all really specific attributes that are basically just going to, weed out the weak. Only the strong will survive. But everybody's environment is completely unique. Everybody's garden is unique, and that's why you need to be hunting for your space. Now, I will say one thing here. I think the word resistant probably gets thrown out a lot when you're talking about people working in their environments and breeding. They'll say, hey, I am in a humid environment. I ran a bunch of seeds. 5 of them got powdery mildew. 1 did not. Therefore, this one is a mold-resistant cultivar. I would be reticent to say something like that, but what I will say is it works well here. It resisted this species of mold. It survived and thrived during these stressors. Saying something is pest resistant or mildew resistant, I'm always a little bit hesitant. Too many times have I seen those claims then prove out to be, wrong in a different environment. But what is 100% true is you can find a cultivar that does well in your environment with your stressors, and then keep that over time and keep it there and give it out to local growers. Especially important with the outdoor growers. I'm now learning.
Yeah, I've always wondered, like, when they say, oh, it's resistance to powdery mildew or resistance to pest. And I mean, how do you prove that? Couldn't anybody just say, oh, yeah, this is resistant to powdery mildew, right? Is there any testing that can be done to prove that in the genetics it is resistant or no?
So in coffee, I like to work in coffee. That's my other big medicinal plant. I mean, I love all plants, don't get me wrong. But in coffee, they have to have strict guidelines to say something like that. You have to do a double-blind controlled study with a coffee institute at Vanderbilt University or whatever. And like I said, it's a control. They have these large-scale grows, so it's not just a small sample size. They have 2 of them, and one of them they will introduce the coffee borer beetle, or they will introduce coffee rust. And you have to get white papers published and peer-reviewed on this stuff before you can go out there and say, hey, here's a mold-resistant coffee cultivar.
Okay, so that doesn't really exist in our world. They're on the medicinal side of things, right?
Virtually non-existent. Nobody's doing that. So I do like to see people doing smaller controlled studies of that. There are some people who do release some pests into their garden and document it, but generally that's just not happening, outside of big crops. And like I said, universities usually conducting a lot of these studies. Coffee University of Brazil, again, Vanderbilt University study coffee science studies. These are the places that do those types of testing and will actually give you a white paper that says, congratulations, you have found a mold-resistant cultivar. Doesn't really exist in other plants.
This clip is brought to you by AC Infinity. Use discount code MrGrow at 15 to save on any of their products.